Football history is filled with great teams, great players, and unforgettable moments. Across decades, nations have risen, fallen, and risen again. But only one country has remained a constant symbol of greatness: the Brazil national football team, the most successful team in FIFA World Cup history. 5 World Cups, 5 different generations, 5 moments that changed football forever. Brazil is not just a team, it is a footballing culture, a way of playing, a way of believing. This is not just a football documentary, this is the story of a nation that turned football into art. This is Brazil. The first crown, 1958. Brazil's journey to greatness did not begin with trophies. It began with heartbreak, learning, and patience. They appeared in the very first World Cup in 1930. They showed promise, but success always slipped away at the final moments. Everything changed in 1958 in Sweden. A young Brazilian squad arrived in Europe carrying hope and carrying pressure. Among them was a 17-year-old boy named Pelé, still unknown to most of the world. In the final against Sweden, Brazil played fearless football, fast, creative, confident. Pelé scored twice. Brazil won 5-2. At that moment, Brazil lifted their first World Cup, and football discovered a new global power. Back-to-back glory. 1962. 4 years later in Chile, Brazil returned as defending champions. Expectations were high. Pressure was even higher. Then, disaster struck. Pelé suffered an injury early in the tournament. Many believed Brazil's title defense was over. But this team was built on more than one star. Led by the brilliance of Garrincha, Brazil adapted, fought, and overcame every challenge. With skill, creativity, and resilience, Brazil marched to the final once again. They won. Back-to-back World Cups. Brazil were no longer a surprise. They were no longer outsiders. They were champions by identity. The greatest team ever. 1970. The 1970 World Cup in Mexico is often remembered as the greatest World Cup ever played, and at the heart of it stood Brazil. This squad is still considered by many to be the greatest football team ever assembled. Pelé, Gaetzinho, Tostão, Rivelino, Carlos Alberto. Every match felt like a performance. Every goal felt like a masterpiece. Brazil didn't just win matches, they entertained the world. In the final against Italy, Brazil played with confidence and control. They won 4-1. Brazil lifted their 3rd World Cup and became the first nation to permanently keep the Jules Rimet trophy. This wasn't just victory, this was perfection. Football had never looked so beautiful. A new era, same greatness, 1994. After 1970, football changed. Defenses became stronger, tactics became more complex, winning became harder. Brazil waited 24 long years for another title. In 1994, in the United States, Brazil returned with a new identity. Less flair, more discipline, more control. The final against Italy was tense and cautious. 90 minutes, extra time, no goals. For the first time ever, a World Cup final was decided by penalties. Brazil stayed calm. Brazil stayed composed. They won. Their 4th World Cup proved something crucial. Brazil could adapt and still win. The Penta Champions, 2002. In 2002, history waited to be written once more. Brazil arrived in South Korea and Japan with hunger and belief. This time, the stars aligned again. Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Ronaldinho. Ronaldo returned stronger than ever. In the final against Germany, he scored twice. Brazil won 2-0. 5 World Cups, more than any nation in history. Brazil became the Penta champions, undisputed kings of world football. What makes Brazil different? Brazil is the only nation to play in every World Cup ever held. But numbers alone do not define their greatness. Brazilian football is built on joy, on creativity, on freedom. From dusty streets to world-class stadiums, football is part of daily life. Brazil didn't just create champions, they created inspiration. Generations grew up dreaming in yellow. A legacy beyond trophies. 5 World Cups, decades of dominance, an influence that goes beyond trophies. Brazil didn't just conquer football, they shaped it. And until another nation reaches 5 titles, until another team inspires the world the same way, Brazil will remain the greatest World Cup team in history.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Like it, share it, and comment your thoughts. Subscribe for more documentary videos.